Jason, thanks so much for taking the time. Excited to talk to you today. All right, let's start at the beginning. Grew up in Overland Park, Kansas. Okay, now that was near Kauffman Stadium where the Royals play. So did you go to a lot of Royals games growing up? Was that your team?
That was my team growing up. Did I go to a lot of games? Not a lot because you're playing all the time. So we would go, there'd always be like a team outing every year to the K, and then there'd, any chance I'd get, I would go. And in high school, once I could drive myself, I went a little more often. But yeah, that was my team.
How did you get your start in baseball, and did you play any other sports?
As a kid, I played like everything, but once I got to high school, I went just baseball competitively. And then, I stuck around with some rec basketball just for fun with some friends. But no, baseball was always my favorite. It was the one that came most natural to me, so I kind of roll with that.
You have some skills with the football, but you never played football.
Yeah. I think maybe when I turn 40, I'll probably stop baseball and go play in the NFL for a few years.
All right, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
All right.
So 40 to 45 will be quarterback.
It's pretty amazing, though. I mean, you get drafted 5th round by the Royals, so the team that you were closest to, that you grew up watching. You spend 3-4 years in the minors, and then you get traded to the Minnesota Twins. Was it jarring? Did it blindside you? You were still a minor leaguer at the time.
Yeah, it was super jarring. I mean, because I was, so I had been a starter in my minor league career. They moved me to the bullpen. They're like, hey, we need a long guy in the big leagues. And I was bad as a starter, so like, we'll try you out, And so I was doing all right out of the pen. Got promoted to AAA, and I'm thinking I'm knocking on the door of the big leagues. So when I saw our manager talking on the phone and looking at me, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm getting called up. And he called me over, and he was like, hey, you just got traded to the Twins. I was like, oh, okay. And so I started just saying, we're hitting BP. I just started saying bye to guys. A couple of my teammates look at me, and they think I'm getting called up, so they're like celebrating, and I'm like, no, this is bad news. So I got traded, and then the Twins demoted me to AA because they wanted me to be a starter again. So I went to New Britain, Connecticut, and and then I got hurt my first or second outing there.
That is where the story gets really crazy, in my opinion, and probably you'd agree. So 2015 and 16, right? You don't play at all. You have 4 surgeries in the span of 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, give us the cliff notes on that. Were you misdiagnosed at first, or was it just other issues kept popping up?
Yeah, so I had a stress fracture in my elbow. So I went to the doctor, and they suggested putting 2 screws in. And so I did that. And it was supposed to be like a quick 2-month recovery. And like 2 months after, I was like, I can't move my arm, and it was killing me. It looked like I had a lacrosse ball shoved in my elbow. And so then I ended up having to, I don't know, I don't think anything was necessarily messed up. My body just didn't respond well, or who knows. So then I'm having 3 surgeries to kind of fix it.
Every surgery, then they would say like, okay, no, we need to do another surgery sort of thing?
It was like a slow death almost. It was like, they'd be like, hey, we think we'll get it right this time, and then it'll be like 3 months and you can throw again. So I'd go 3 months, and I'm like, this is killing me still. So they'd go back in and do something else, and then be like, yeah, this should just be 3 months. And then 3 to 6 months later, I'm like, it's still killing me. So it was just kind of like each time it just wasn't quite getting right.
What was your lowest low at that time?
So I remember I had 3 surgeries, and this was the closest I'd been. I was throwing rehab outings in Florida, and I was pitching, and I felt this same pop in my elbow, and I was like, no way. So I went home to my wife at the time, and I opened the door. She's all excited because this is one of my last outings before I'm escaping rehab. And she was like, how was it? And I just started crying. I was like, no good. And at that point, I was crying because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to play again. This just can't get right. And so, yeah, that was probably the lowest of lows. Yeah.
And then at that point, then you have a 4th surgery?
Yes. So then we went in for the 4th surgery. Dr. Andrews was like, I don't know, I'm just going to kind of throw everything I got at this. So he did, there's a big screw in there. He put like did the stem cell thing from my hip or something, and then put me on osteoporosis medicine that I had to inject every day for a few months to hopefully like help the bone heal. And after that, so that's when I became a minor league free agent. Twins obviously had no interest in signing me back, nor should they have. And that's when I signed with the Padres in the minor leagues.
That is an incredible story. Before we get to the Padres and then when you finally made your major league debut, how did you turn the corner in terms of like, I believe I can still do it. I believe I can still get out there, because I'm sure that doubt just kept creeping into you.
Yeah, so after that moment where I came home crying, I went, I was just like, am I even supposed to be playing? I asked that. And so I would just I just prayed every day, like, God, do you want me to be playing this game? If you and at first it was like, I really want this, and I eventually got to the point where I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Like, do you want me to play or do you not want me to play? But please make it clear. And so it brought me to like my knees of like total surrender. Like I'm working hard. I'm trying to do everything I can, and it's obviously out of my control. And I got total peace about trying to keep playing. So I just stuck with it. My wife, she's a saint. She stuck with me. She's like, yeah, if that's what you believe you're supposed to do right now, and I did. And God kept opening doors that I really didn't deserve. And so yeah, we kept riding the wave.
You signed a minor league contract with the Padres, which baseball is so full circle, like it's so ironic, right? And that's where you're still rehabbing your arm. They release you. The Royals pick you back up.
Yeah.
And you end up making your major league debut in 2018 with the team that originally drafted you in 2010. Take me back to that day when you finally get on the mound, you're finally in a major league game. I mean, in the culmination of that.
It was incredible. It was total full circle moment. The Royals, they called me up. It was a home game, so I had a ton of people there. The bullpen coach in Kansas City, Vance Wilson, he was my minor league manager 3 of my first 4 seasons. So we had a good relationship, and I'm warming up and I'm looking back, and he'd hate me telling this, but he's getting choked up, and he's like, I can't even look at you, and then he gave me some of the best advice. He said, on your jog in, he's like, look up, take in the stadium, enjoy it, and he's like, this is cool, let it be cool, and then once you step on the mound, it's business time. He's like, but don't forget to enjoy it. And yeah, it's a moment I'll never forget.
Did you feel the magnitude of the moment at that point?
I felt it probably not during the game, but yeah, probably before and after. I remember telling my wife, I ran to the hotel. I was in Omaha when I got the call, and told my wife, I'm like, hey, like we're going to the big leagues, and she's crying obviously, and I was like, that happened quick. Because it was early in the season. She goes, that happened quick. She's like, did you forget about the last 3 years? And I'm like, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe not so quick.
So then the Royals release you eventually, right? And good old baseball. And you are with the Blue Jays, the Cubs, the Rays, and then the Padres. So you got used to moving around. Were you a person who was good with uncertainty before that, or did you have to learn to be good with uncertainty and change along the way?
I had to learn it. Okay. It's easy. It was easy when it was just me, but then as wife and kids are involved, uncertainty becomes a lot harder. And it was kind of the same thing that happened when I didn't know if I was ever going to play again. Just kind of having to live like totally surrendered. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to throw this pitch for a strike. And if I do that over and over, hopefully I'll get to keep a job. And then if and so like you try to keep like keep the focus on the small things, while also surrendering like there are things that are out of my control. And if I consume my mind with them, it's going to suck the joy out of this game. It has no benefit. So a lot of prayer and just trying to relearn how to look at things, and a lot of wise people in my life giving me good advice. But yeah, uncertainty is always hard. But yeah, I definitely feel like I've grown in that area.
Why do you think you went through this? Like, who are you now versus who you were before all this? What was this meant to teach you?
Yeah, the biggest lesson I learned, and it's the reason I say I wouldn't trade those 3 years of being hurt for 3 years in the big leagues, is I thought baseball was a total god to me. It was everything. My emotions rose and fell with the game. It was everything. Baseball was good, I was good. If baseball was bad, I was bad. So I had to realize that as good as it's an awesome game, but it's a terrible god. So I just have to like put baseball in its right place. It's a sweet game. I love playing it. I love watching it. I love all the things that come with it. But it's it can't fully satisfy me, and it'll leave me disappointed. So I think learning that changed my entire life.
Incredible perspective. That's great perspective. And one of the things about you that I call old school, because you just don't see it in the game a lot anymore, is even if you have a bad outing, you stand at your locker and you treat everyone the same way. Like, I know you're disappointed, but you don't really change who you are in that moment. Is that what you just talked about?
Yeah, it's the perspective that like the sun's going to come up tomorrow, probably, but yeah, as far as we know. And two, and it's not your fault I stunk that night, so I don't want to take it out on you guys. I want to be accountable to when I fail. yeah, so I try not to ride the emotional wave too much. But bad games are hard, and good games are fun. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, try to maintain level.
What have you learned about failure during this time? Because it is hard, right? If you lose the lead, you give up some runs. How have you learned to deal with failure as a reliever?
Yeah, I think I've becoming really process driven. If I went 1, 2, 3, but my pitches were bad, I wasn't getting ahead of guys, then I need to evaluate that process and be like, no, like yes, the results were good. I'm thankful for that, but that's not going to work over the time. In the same way, I need to, if I am I'm getting ahead of guys, and they're just happen to be swinging and connecting and finding holes. That stinks. It hurts.
Yeah.
You let your team down or whatever, but that process will work over time. So I try to really evaluate the process, and so that keeps me from being like, if you're results driven, because the results in baseball don't always match up with the process. Blue hits fall and barrels get caught, so it's just like so that being process driven has really helped me.
While you were with San Diego, you changed your delivery, it sounds like, right? And it's funny, like your delivery to me, like as someone who's, on the outside looking in, kind of looks like a softball dad, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wonder when you were finally recovering from those surgeries, if you were trying to get back to the guy that you used to be and you realized, no, wait, I got to be someone new. How did that work?
Yeah, it was the same thing, because with San Diego, I didn't have any surgeries, but I was still like not being healthy enough to pitch. So I was like, every time I threw it hurt.
So this was in 2017.
Yeah. And so we were getting to like July, and I'm like, hey, like when I just put the ball by my ear and step and throw, it doesn't hurt. Can I try that? And they're like, we just want you off the books, buddy. Do whatever you want, like. So I did it, and I kept throwing, and I was like, this doesn't hurt. And then I stretched out to further distance, kept not hurting. Stepped on the mound, it didn't hurt, and my stuff was even better. So I was like, I just kind of rolled with it. Yeah.
Your first few years in the big leagues were not as dominant as the last 3-4 years. The ERAs are quite different. What changed for you in Tampa?
The process. That's where I first learned to become process driven, and they outlined a clear process for me of basically, I want to get ahead of hitters. When they gave me a path to getting ahead of hitters, and then once I'm ahead of hitters, now they're going to chase more balls. So you want to be in the zone early, out of the zone late, and they're like, if you're doing that over the course of time, it's going to work. And they were so good with me about, because they're passionate about strike one. If I threw strike one and I gave up a homer, they'd say, hey, great job. That's going to work 95% of the time, so keep doing that. So when you're a fringe guy up and down, you give up a first pitch homer, you're like, oh boy, I'm getting optioned again. So, but to come in the dugout and hear the pitching coach be like, nope, great job, we love that, that's going to work. It gives you a huge vote of confidence.
Wow, that positive reinforcement right there for the process. Like you said, you've been terrific with the Padres. And I mean, you've pitched, at the time of this recording, you're either at the top or you're the top 2 or 3 of the most appearances of all relievers in Major League Baseball, but you've just been tremendous off the mound. You were selected to the AllStar Game in Atlanta, your first AllStar Game of your career. Just in light of everything we just talked about and everything you've been through, what does this represent for you and your family?
Yeah, it's really special. I think the story that almost makes me want to cry, but like just made me so happy is last night, because my girls didn't really know I got to All-Star Game. They don't know what that means, but somebody in the playroom told my oldest that I then made the All-Star Game, and she came running out when I came out to give them hugs goodnight last night after the game. She goes, Daddy, we made the All-Star Game. And the fact that she said we made the All-Star Game just meant so much to me, because they're such a part of that process. I'd be nothing without my family. And so to get to share in these moments with them is incredibly special.
And it's so cool because you're going to be walking that red carpet in Atlanta with your wife and your 4 girls. You are a girl dad through and through. First of all, how old are they all?
So the oldest just turned 7, then we have 4, 3, and almost 2.
So 4 girls under 7, 7 and under. Okay, so when you're not playing baseball, is it like tea parties, dolls, manicures? Like, what is the life of it?
Yeah, tea parties, nails, dolls. I'm trying to get them to play some tennis or something, but they love gymnastics, they love dance, and it's awesome. It's so fun. I feel like I got my baseball with the guys, and I got my home life with the girls. It's the best.
You don't stand a chance in that household. Like they've got to be you've got to be wrapped around their fingers.
Yeah, I'm so soft. It's terrible. Yeah, terrible.
What are you looking forward to most when you go to Atlanta?
I think honestly, just being around those guys, taking it all in. And one of the things I'm excited about is my girls were literally practicing their red carpet walk this morning, which is so awesome and so concerning at the same time. but just to like share like those little moments, and like I can't wait.
Can't wait to see that as well. Not to mention the outfits, right? We know they're going to be decked out. I want to talk a little bit about the shirt you're wearing, Strike Out Child Abuse, and you're doing work with Crest, which is a nonprofit that helps children and families and also fights back against child abuse, right? Okay, you could easily, I mean, I saw that you're donating $1,250 for every strikeout you execute out there this season. You've already hosted families, you've already given money and time. I mean, you could easily write a check and everybody would think that was wonderful. But you're doing so much more. Why is this cause important to you to really invest in it?
Yeah, it's something that we heard about when we first came to San Diego, and we fell in love with the cause. It broke our hearts, and the more we've learned and the more we've gotten to know our friends at Crest, it's like the more passionate we keep getting about it, and we just want to do more and more, and want to get more people involved because they're changing the trajectory of kids' lives, and parents' lives. I mean, stepping in and helping parents who need help. It's just. They cover everything. They do a phenomenal job. They're the best people we've met, and it's been such a blessing to us to get to experience that and sharing those moments that we can't help it.
What is your favorite way to spend an off day?
Here, the beach. Yeah, beach with the kids. We go beach, park, hit the coffee shop. I mean, it's 72 degrees every day, sunny. It's perfect. You can sit on the beach all day and you don't get fried. Yeah.
What's your coffee order?
Oh, typically just a black Americano. Yeah, simple. Yeah, but I love a good quality hipster coffee shop. Yeah.
Yes, like the avocado toast.
Yeah.
Are you like? Okay,
yeah. Yep. Yeah. If the guy's in a beanie and plaid, it's gonna be a good cup of Joe.
Love this. Hidden talent besides baseball? Anything?
I do paint nails pretty well. I've learned to paint. I'm learning a braid, so that's going to be a talent here pretty soon, yeah.
These are necessities. In a household full of girls, this is a necessity. Are you pretty good?
The braid needs work. The high pony's good. Outside of that, the braid's a little dicey, yeah.
It is amazing to watch your career. Your sense of humor, I feel like, is an asset for you as well, yes. Best of luck and have fun at the AllStar Game, and we wish you continued success for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Great chatting.